Chimaev is training so hard and putting it on guys. Watching him against Fluffy, do we believe that he can compete against Khamzat Chimaev? I have heard stories, guys, out of the Chimaev camp, that Chimaev is training so hard and putting it on guys, elite level guys, like nothing you've ever seen before. I have heard Khamzat Chimaev wants people to go so hard with him to try to beat him and submit him and do. He's paying him. Khamzat's putting a bounty on himself.
You want to jump in my pool?
I want to die now.
Okay. No problem.
On Strickland versus Khamzat Chimaev, what happened in the training room? Now, Daniel Cormier talked about this, and I'm glad that he said it because it's what everybody's wondering. There was people that were there when they trained. Khamzat has one opinion. He whipped Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland has a totally different opinion. He said, wait a minute, first off, we didn't go that often, and when we did go, hey, no problems with you. Where are the bystanders? I'm so curious. Now, there's a rule in the practice room that what happens in the room stays in the room. And you would be stunned at how fiercely loyal to that code. That happened or that didn't happen, those guys have already stepped outside it. So where's the third man? Where's the fourth man? Where's the fifth man? I've been to Extreme Couture plenty of times. It's a packed gym. People would have seen Sean Strickland and Chimaev, and nobody is weighing in. It's a very fascinating concept, and Chimaev now allegedly, and everything with Chimaev is like this big secret, and it didn't used to be. And Chimaev is one of the great Gregor, Ronda Rousey, Chimaev, where the media was just drawn to him and used to get so much information. We got everything. We got personal information. We got who he's dating, who he's marrying, who he's hanging out with. We got when he was on a potential deathbed during COVID, like Chimaev let us in. We got to go with him in a car when him and Darren Till went grocery shopping. And by the way, it was interesting. I mean, like, this dude was Yuki. All of a sudden, mum's the word. He's not traveling. He's changing weight classes. He's not traveling because he can't travel. He can't get to the U.S. The stories of him can't get into the U.S. is while he was holding training camp in the U.S. As a matter of fact, it was the very time that he was in Las Vegas training with Sean Strickland, but everything just got quiet. Now, what's Chimaev gonna do? Gonna fight Imanov. He's getting called out by Strickland. Duplessis wants a rematch. Chimaev's gonna leave the division. He's going up 205 pounds. Like, it's just been really hard to get any level of clarity. So now Chimaev is back to training. Khalil Roundtree goes out and trains with him. It was pretty.
The gym wars between Sean Strickland and Khamzat Chimaev are absolutely exploding the MMA world right now. And what I'm about to tell you changes everything you think you know about these two killers. We're talking about a secret training session that supposedly went down behind closed doors, where one of these guys allegedly dominated the other so badly that it's created the biggest he said drama in recent memory. But here's the kicker. Both fighters are telling completely different stories about what happened, and the silence from everyone else who was supposedly there is deafening. This isn't just some casual gym gossip. This is psychological warfare that could determine who gets the next title shot. And by the end of this breakdown, you'll understand exactly why this story is sending shockwaves through the entire middleweight division.
Videos that were coming out, and a lot of the rumors were true about Chimaev's size. You could tell he was a big guy. I don't know that I would dispute the rumor, but it is still a rumor that he wanted to go up to 205 pounds. And not go up to 205 pounds because of Pierre or to become champ, because he didn't want to go back to 85. Like, he looked big and he looked good. So now you got Strickland, who's been given the opportunity, earned the opportunity. And that's a very confusing division as well. We haven't heard from Imanov what that negotiation looked like.
Here's where this gets absolutely wild. Chimaev came out publicly and claimed he completely handled Strickland in training, talking about how he dominated Sean and made it look easy. But then Strickland, being the brutally honest savage he is, flat out denied it and told a completely different version of events. Think about what just happened here. The sacred code of the gym, that unwritten rule that what happens in training stays in training, got obliterated by both guys. And that's massive because once that code is broken, once both fighters are already talking publicly about their sparring sessions, Where the hell are all the other witnesses? We're talking about a packed gym facility with coaches, training partners, and other fighters all around. Yet nobody else is coming forward with their version of what went down. This silence is screaming volumes about what really happened in that room.
The scorn lover is the first one to come out and start telling us what happened and how they were wrong. Imanov did not do that. Drickus weighed in on the situation. And Drickus had the same experience with Sean Strickland that I had with Sean Strickland. And Drickus was talking about, man, the first time you go with this guy, you think he's a wrestler. When you don't know anything about him, and you haven't met yet, you just feel him. At the end of the workout,
Now get this part, because it reveals everything about Chimiv's transformation as a public figure. Remember early career Kamzat? The guy was filming himself grocery shopping with Darren Till, showing us his entire training camps, and basically letting fans into every aspect of his life. He was this completely open book who connected with audiences like no other fighter in the sport. Fast forward to now, and he's become this mysterious, enigmatic figure who barely speaks to media and keeps everything under wraps. So here's what's fascinating. Why would a guy who used to share everything suddenly go completely silent about his training? Was his experience with Strickland so impactful, either positively or negatively, that it fundamentally changed how he wants to be perceived? Did something happen in that gym that made him realize he needed to protect his mystique at all costs?
he's even harder to keep there. And it's a very interesting concept. I mean, Drickus went as far as to say that he thinks that Sean's got a very good chance in the fight, and he said in a stand-up realm that Sean is much better than Chimaev. Now, I would challenge Drickus on that, but I would challenge him very respectfully, like as the former champion who's been in the ring the better part of 75 minutes with these guys. He has the right to his opinion, but it did surprise me. Like, what do you mean meaning Strickland? What do you mean he's meaningfully better in the striking than Chimaev?
Wait, it gets even more confusing when you look at the timeline inconsistencies surrounding Chimiv's activities. Stories were circulating in the media claiming he couldn't get into the United States due to visa issues or travel restrictions. Yet somehow he was actively training with Sean Strickland in Las Vegas at that exact same time period. Las Vegas, which last time I checked, is very much in the United States. This contradiction fuels massive speculation about what else is being deliberately obscured about his movements and his readiness to compete. The lack of transparency around his activities only intensifies the mystery of his training with Strickland, making it impossible to get a clear picture of what's really going on. It's like pieces of a puzzle that don't fit together no matter how you arrange them, and it makes you wonder if there's a much bigger story being hidden from the public.
I went back and watched that fight, but I was at that fight. I don't remember that. I mean, it was pretty quick, and it came across the corner, and it was the same takedown every time, and it was a double leg, and I'm not trying to be a jerk about it. I'm just asking, does he have the knowledge? Is that accurate? I mean, that's the day-old story all the way back to 1993. Well, if this guy can keep it standing, or if this guy can get it to the ground, it's the day-old lazy approach to an analysis to MMA. The problem is, somewhere around 2007, that no longer became true. Guys were just complete fighters, and I'm only asking the question. I mean, these guys have fought. There's something known as a...
Here's something that makes Strickland's version even more impressive if it's true. Chimiv was reportedly contemplating a move up to light heavyweight, not for champion status, but because those weight cuts down to middleweight were absolutely destroying his body. Think about the physical implications here. If Kamzat was walking around at basically light heavyweight size during these training sessions, then Sean was essentially sparring with a guy who had a significant size and strength advantage. The fact that Strickland is holding his own or potentially getting the better of a bigger, stronger opponent makes his defiance of Chimiv's claims way more credible. Size matters in combat sports whether people want to admit it or not, and if Sean was handling business against a naturally bigger fighter, that says everything about his toughness and skill level.
In all of sports, but you really feel it in combat. And the mask is the aura. Mike Tyson wore the mask. Anderson Silva wore the mask. Where guys would buckle in the back. There was just this aura around this guy. He was invincible. If he touches me, he's gonna knock me out. This guy's so good, he could put me on his finger and spin me around, but it's a real thing. It's a real thing until you get in there and you feel him, and a lot of times when it's done, you go, boy, I wish I could do that again. I could have done better. Whether I would have won or not, I could have competed better. That guy was not this...
Now listen to this perspective from Drickus du Plessis, because his insights are absolutely gold here. Dricus has actually fought both Strickland and Chimiv inside the octagon under real fight conditions, so his opinion carries serious weight. He describes Strickland as having this deceptive strength and relentless pressure that makes him way tougher than he looks on paper. But here's where Dricus makes a bold claim that raises eyebrows. He says Strickland is meaningfully better in the striking department than Chimiv. That's a massive assertion to make, especially considering Chimiv's reputation as a complete mixed martial artist who's shown flashes of devastating power on the feet. If this assessment is accurate, and if Strickland was consistently outstriking Khamzat during their gym sessions, it would completely shift the power dynamic of their rivalry and add serious credibility to Sean's version of events.
When you train with a guy, once you train with him and once you work out with him, once you see him dragging in the gym like everybody else and trying to wrap his hand and just like trying to get the motivation to get through a workout. Once you feel him and you sweat with him and you watch other guys go, the mask is off. And Chimaev is very much one of these guys that has a mask. There was an aura around Chimaev. Now what's going to happen is between these guys, and I fully do believe that Chimaev feels that he got the best of Sean and that Sean's going, hey, wait a minute, there's a little bit more to the story, which is very real in the practice.
But hold up, there's a problem with this striking analysis that we need to address. When did we actually see Khamzat's striking truly tested against Dricus in their fight? If you go back and watch that bout, it was predominantly a wrestling and grappling affair. So how can Dricus make definitive statements about their comparative striking abilities when his fight with Chimiv didn't really showcase that aspect of Khamzat's game? This highlights a common pitfall in MMA analysis, where people draw conclusions about one aspect of a fighter's skill set from a fight that was dominated by completely different techniques. If Dricus's perception of Strickland's superior striking stems from how they each felt in wrestling exchanges rather than actual striking comparisons, then we might be dealing with flawed analysis that doesn't tell the whole story about what happened in that training room.
One guy sat out the round before and the other guy had his hardest round the round before, and now it's right. There's all sorts of things and there's all sorts of math that's going on in a fighter's mind. Like a fighter could openly lose rounds to another guy and go, no, but I got the best of you. And then have his reasons why. And a training round is very deceptive. You're grappling at 100%, but you're striking at 80%. And that's a broad stroke term, but that's pretty consistent throughout gyms everywhere. And I'm just wondering, who was the third man? I've broken the deal about what stays in the room. That was Sean's gym, that was Sean's room. Chimaev was a guest. These are the facts. Who saw those sparring sessions? I want to hear what they remember. Who was the common opponent? It wasn't like Sean and Chimaev just went with each other. Each round they went with somebody else. Who was there? I'm curious. I want to know what really happened.
This brings us to the concept of the mask, which is absolutely crucial for understanding this entire situation. In combat sports, certain fighters develop this aura of invincibility that intimidates opponents before a single punch is thrown. Think Mike Tyson in his prime or Anderson Silva during his legendary title reign. They had this mystique that made opponents mentally buckle before the fight even started. Chimiv mastered this psychological game during his early UFC career, destroying opponents and making it look effortless while building this almost mythical level of dominance. But here's the thing about the mask. It comes off when you're training with someone day after day, grinding through hard rounds and seeing them in their most vulnerable moments. When you watch someone get tired, struggle, and show their human side, that intimidating aura completely dissipates, and you realize they're just another fighter who bleeds like everyone else. And that's exactly what might have happened between Strickland and Chimiv in those training sessions. Sean Strickland is known throughout the sport for his mental fortitude and complete lack of fear when facing anyone. If he saw through Chimiv's mask during training and realized the Boers is human after all, it would explain why their narratives are so different. Chimiv might genuinely believe he dominated based on his reputation and perhaps some early exchanges where he got the better of things, while Strickland, having seen the man behind the mystique, feels he held his own or even got the better of their sessions.